Okay. Thank you so much, Anshuman, for letting me know. I have people joining me on the chat. Okay, lovely. So I see like everybody can more or less see the screen now and we can jump forward. Okay, super. If you guys remember a couple of things that we did last time, it was around certain elements that help us identify the genders of certain nouns. So it's not just animate objects or people or animals that have genders, inanimate objects also have genders in French, which sometimes gets confusing for learners like us. But these small little tricks to have them up our sleeves just help us come closer to identifying the gender of the nouns and subsequently getting the articles correct while we use them. We did go through a couple of tricks and tips last time, as you all can see. We saw some endings both in masculine and feminine, along with some examples that help us identify the genders. If all of this just brings back and helps you jog your memory, we also saw some job titles along with some professions, along with some country names and regions which are specifically feminine and masculine. I hope that this small recap was just able to help you jog your memory. We're going to be taking it forward from here. All right, and we're going to be incorporating some elements from what we did last time as well. Okay, alors, on commence. In French, as you know, biological genders are already given, which means all the masculine genders, people and animals, have masculine genders, obviously. So if I talk about people as an element, I talk about people as an important element, some natural and biological genders are already fixed. For example, an homme. We know that it'll be masculine because we're talking about a man. And similarly or parallelly, une femme would be feminine, which is not only the opposite of un homme, but also is the feminine part of it. Okay? Continuing, un garçon and une fille. Une fille. This is the quick, okay. This is this is like a small tip for pronunciation for all of you guys attending today. When ILLE is put together for your nouns, we don't pronounce the double L. Okay, so for example, I have the term famille. I will not say famille, I would say famille. Fille. BA. Please make it a point that for the nouns in which you have ILLE endings, you do not pronounce it, you do not pronounce the double L or the L, you pronounce it as E, which is why if you see the notes in front of you, you clearly see that there's a pronunciation given here that it is une fille, which is a girl. Moving forward, un père, une mère, un frère, une sœur. For all of you, pronunciation of the word sister is sœur. The way in English you say sir is the same thing. Un oncle and une tante. Un fille, une fille. Now, if you guys can see, une fille, the term is also used for a girl and also used for a daughter. Un roi and une reine. Un roi means a king. Une reine is a queen. Once again, a small pronunciation tip for those who've been attending the sessions regularly know of this. For those of you attending for the first time, again, let me just reiterate. OI put together gives you the sound UA. UA. Those, everyone, since you're on mute, I just want you to say that, okay? UA. So if you put a consonant before it, okay? Moi, toi, loi, bois, roi. Okay? Always remember the pronunciation is ua. These are phonetic rules. We'll obviously soon enough be having a whole session designed around phonetics to familiarize you with some more common and less common rules. But as we go and move forward in sessions and we see these, I want you guys to just keep making these quick notes so that they help you with your pronunciation as well. Okay? So it's rua, which means a king. If I replace the r with an m, moi. If I replace the m with the t, toi. If I replace the t with the l, loi, which is basically law or laws in French. I hope that's clear so far. The more you know these rules, the better it is for you guys. Reason being, when you see an unfamiliar word, putting these rules together, they help you at least come closer to the pronunciation, especially at an earlier stage where you need to resonate to the sounds. Okay, moving forward from there. Just how we saw that the biological gender of certain people we already know of and the divided between masculine and feminine, so is the biological gender for animals. Okay, now understand that in the last session we talked about certain which change by taking a female and a male. For example, we did the word crocodile, and we did that we, in order to make it a male or a female, in front of female, we add the female prefix to it and it just becomes a female crocodile. There's no new word to it. However, there are certain animals which completely change in its feminine form. Let's look at the vocabulary for that as well today. Of course, as you see on the left hand side, you have the masculine gender, and on the right hand side, you have feminine. Now, I want to give you guys a chance to read alongside. So, is there anybody who wants to volunteer to read a couple for us, please? Just for pronunciation and just change the pace of sound. Anybody who wants to volunteer and read some examples for us? Okay, superb, Jitendra. Lovely. You can unmute yourself. Thank you so much for volunteering.
Yeah.
It's good to, it's gonna be nice to hear somebody else's voice.
Okay. So
Okay, superb.
should read the masculine and the feminine both?
Both, yes.
Okay. The first is Ibo, Yun, Shoot.
Okay. Nibu, guys, remember, Jitendra, let's try once again. We're gonna connect the sound, okay?
Right,
The
right.
n has to connect with the H because that's liaison, correct? So Nibu,
Nibu,
superb. And Yun Shuet,
Un, Shuet.
superb. Perfect. Do you want to try another one?
Yeah. Mouton, Yun, Brebi.
Very nice. Superb. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, first of all, perfectly said, un mouton and une brebis. Un mouton is a sheep. We all know this. But a less common word for us is une brebis, which is the feminine form of it. A nibu, I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. But the feminine form of it is une chouette. Chouette. Just a quick tip again here, guys, for you all. Pardon, let me just mark it for you here. Okay. When you see OU put together, the sound of OU is OO. OO. Okay? Hence, ibu, mouton, chouette. Just a quick tip for you all. Okay? All right. Moving forward, we have a taureau and une vache. Clearly, you know the meaning. So we are I'm sure you're familiar with what une vache is. Very basic word, which is a cow. But a lesser common known is a taureau. Again, remember guys, we talked about a rule that EAU endings, the pronunciation being O, is masculine. And we also did a phonetic rule in the last couple of sessions that AU put together gives you O. It will never be O, it's O. Hence, a taureau. Alright, following through, un porc, une truie. Un porc, une truie. Okay, anybody else who wants to try a couple of words for us? Just like Jitendra did, it will be superb if somebody wants to volunteer and read a couple. It will be a chance for you to read and get some pronunciation fixes also, and I would be happy to help out in that. So anybody who wants to step in, you guys can unmute yourselves. Okay, perfect. Hi, Tapu. I hope I got the pronunciation right.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, superb. I always have a problem with people get the pronunciation, the names wrong.
That's okay.
Okay, let's try from here.
Okay. So, Anko
Very nice. Encore.
and Yun Pool.
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 Very good. So a cock is a rooster and yun pool is a hen. Can you also try, let's say, from here?
Sure. So, un kanar,
Very nice.
yun kan,
Kan.
kan.
Very good. Superb. We have the word which is ending in E, right?
Yeah,
So we emphatically pronounce the last consonant. So yun kan.
can.
Very good.
Okay.
Let's try this one.
Okay. Lu,
Very nice. Lu.
yun love, love,
Yun luv. Very
love.
good. Superb. Again,
Yeah.
ending with E, we emphatically pronounce the way in the end. So yun luv, which means
Wolf. It's written
bird.
there.
Very good. Superb. Very well done on the pronunciation as well. Very good. Superb.
Thank you.
So, all right, once again, guys, we've so far covered people which have biological gender, animals, some lesser common animals in their masculine and feminine forms. Moving forward, let's try to look at some words which can be written in both masculine and feminine. Now that's tricky, right? I mean, anyway, knowing the genders is tricky, it's difficult. But there are words which are masculine as well as feminine. But the trick is that the moment you change their gender, the meaning completely changes. And I know you've seen these words before, but let's just dive deep into it and let's understand them in more detail. Again, I would love if somebody could volunteer and could read with us so that we can compare the two sentences together. And I'd like all of you to take this chance and participate, all right? Anybody who wants to participate? Okay, Tapur, we'll start with you.
Okay, so I need to read the first two sentences, right?
Yes, absolutely. The first two sentences, which are right here.
Okay. J'ai acheté un livre sur la cuisine.
Very nice.
Elle a, elle a perdu un livre en un sommet.
Okay, all right. Before I correct the pronunciations, very well done. Do you have any idea about what the meanings could be?
So livre is book and surla is like on the
Very nice. So on
cuisine,
the cuisine, which is on cooking.
on cooking, yeah.
Very good.
Actually, I'm not able to remember.
Okay, ashate is to buy. So I bought a book on cooking, which means I bought a cooking book, right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Elle a perdu. I think perdu is to lose something.
Yes, very good. The verb that you're looking here, so this is in the past tense, the sentence, and the verb is perdre,
Perd.
which is to lose.
So she lost a book. Same is week, right? In a week.
All right, superb. Thank you so much. That was really nice. I'll give you a few quick tips around pronunciation as well.
Sure.
J'ai acheté. So we take the sound up when we have the accent aigu. So j'ai acheté un livre sur la cuisine was perfectly fine after that. And the second sentence, elle a perdu.
Perdu.
Very good.
Okay.
Un livre en une semaine.
Semaine. Oh yeah. Okay.
All right. But very well done. Superb. And you really helped us navigate through the meaning also. So thanks a lot for that.
Thank you.
Now, did you clearly notice, all of you, that in the first sentence, un livre, that's with the article un, which means it's masculine there. But in the second sentence, it's un livre. Please understand that this is or these are some words which exist in both masculine and feminine, but they have completely different meanings, especially when the gender changes. So, for example, I take the word un livre. Un livre means a book, but un livre means a pound, which is weight. So in this sentence, elle a perdu un livre en une semaine means she lost a pound. That means a pound of weight or of weight in 1 week. Does that make sense for everyone? I want everybody to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on chat if you understand what I'm trying to convey. All right, perfect. I see Renu, Anshuman, Alicia responding. Super. Thank you. Thank you, Priya. Lovely. Okay, so okay, lovely. I see then there's responses rolling in, so I guess everyone's been able to understand that so far. I don't know if you guys knew this before, but let's also go and get into a few more such words that completely change their genders. Okay, and when that happens, the meaning changes. Okay, anybody who wants to volunteer to read the next one? Okay, Jitendra, come on.
Yeah, this next one, right?
Yes.
On fait un tour de vélo.
Very nice.
La,
Super pronunciation. Very good.
la tour Eiffel est magnifique.
A magnifique. Very good. Superb. The common term that we have here, Jitendra, is
Tour.
a tour.
A tour,
In
yeah.
proximity to what the meaning could be, somewhat here and there for the first and second one.
The first one is tour, like on fair.
Correct.
The
A
tour,
fait, un tour. Correct. It's a tour
tour.
or a trip.
Yeah. La tour, I can see down, but yeah, I just got like I
That's
just got
okay.
to know now.
That's
Yeah, it's
okay.
a tower, yeah.
Yeah, that's superb. I don't know if this was something that you guys had noticed before, but un tour du monde, un tour de vélo, un tour means a trip, okay, or a turn.
Okay.
But une tour, like la Tour Eiffel, means a tower. So the moment you change the gender, the meaning would change as well. Let's look at the C option. Okay, it says il a trouvé un poste à Lyon. Je vais à la poste envoyer un colis. Now, when the word post is masculine, it means a job or a position. Okay, so il a trouvé un poste en Lyon et donc il a commencé à travailler dans l'entreprise la semaine dernière. He found a job or a position at Lyon and he started working in the company last week. So a post means a job or a position. You'd find and see this term a lot when you explore the theme of le monde du travail, the working world. Okay? On the contrary, je vais à la poste. This is a location and this la poste means the post office. Okay? Let's try another one. We have the term le critique and une critique. Le critique a adoré ce film. And the second sentence, elle a reçu une critique positive. Let's try to brainstorm, guys. Why don't you put on the chat and tell me, what do you think, guesswork, is the difference between le critique and une critique? Between it being when it's masculine and when it's feminine. Let's try. Come on, let's just brainstorm a little bit and let's just throw in ideas. What do you think it means? Le critique is a noun, which is true. Le critique is a person criticizing something. Okay, very good. Makes sense. Close enough. Yes, correct. Absolutely, Lian. And Biswaji, super. Thanks for writing that for us. Everyone else? Do you want to put in some ideas? Okay, a person and criticism. Le critique is critic. La critique réponse. Reviewer and review. Very good, guys. Very good. You guys are absolutely correct, actually. Not to beat around the bush too much. When you talk about le critique à adorer ce film, this le critique is a person, a critique, a film critique. On the other hand, elle a reçu une critique. This is a review. So she received a positive criticism or review on her work, on her article, on her thesis, could be anything. So when le critique is masculine, it's a person, and when it's feminine, it means criticism or review. Okay, let's try another one. Anybody again from our lovely batch of students here who wants to volunteer to read the next sentence for all of us? Come on, guys. It will be superb if you guys participate, and it's a chance for you to come up, speak forward, because this is the only way you guys would be able to, since everyone's on mute. So, anyone who wants to come forward, anyone can just try one of the sentences. Khaled, okay, superb. Hey, how are you? Thanks for volunteering.
Yeah, thank you. So,
Okay, how about we read option E?
Il rédige un mémoire de fin d'études.
Very good, very nice.
Ma grand-mère a une très bonne mémoire.
Superb, very nice. Love the pronunciation. It was bang on. It was very nice. Superb.
Thank
Can
you.
you also help us identify what is, since we already know that it's a memoir and une memoir, the two terms, what could be the possible difference by looking at the meanings? Maybe
Sorry.
for one of them actually. And the second one I could help out. Ma grand-mère a une très bonne mémoire would possibly mean?
Autobiography.
Okay, she has a very, okay, so we have two. Very nice.
Oh, sorry. The first one is
The
autobiography.
first one, lovely, lovely. But you got that perfectly right. This is exactly what usually gets tricky. We know the meaning when we look at the word, but sometimes you don't understand if that fits in, right? Very good, very good. So what we're gonna see now is a list that makes more sense and helps you find out. A critique we just saw means a critic, and une critique means review or critique. A memoir is a thesis or dissertation, whereas une memoire means memory. So if we look at again the sentence, il rédige a mémoire de fin d'études. That means he writes a thesis at the end of his studies. Okay? And the second sentence, my grandmother has a very good memory. As you can see that in the second sentence, it's feminine, and the first one, it's masculine. And because of that, the meaning is different. Thank you so much, Khalid. And very good, very well done with the pronunciation and the way that you connected the sound. Superb, very nice. Anyone else who wants to volunteer for the next one? Come on, guys. Anybody who would like to try? Okay, Anshuman, superb.
So it's F, right? F.
Yes, F.
Yeah.
Party F.
C'est un mot devient c'est. Elle adore le mode italien.
Lovely. C'est un mode. So we'll connect the the and the e.
Yeah.
C'est un mode de vie saine. Et elle adore la mode italienne. Very nice. Any idea about any one of the modes? I'm sure you must have seen the word. Any one that you recognize.
The second one, I think it's fashion related.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely. Very true. La mode, as you said, is fashion. You got that perfectly right. And that's the most common one that we all know of also. All right. Un mode is a method or a mode. In English, same word. All right. So if I look at the sentence that you just read, c'est un mode de vie sain means this is a method of life or style of life or living style, very healthy. Vie sain, healthy life. And elle adore la mode italienne would mean she loves?
Italian fashion.
Absolutely. She loves the Italian fashion.
Mhm.
Lovely. Superb. All right. Anyone who wants to try reading partie G and partie H? So any two people can volunteer one by one. We can go through it. Come on, guys. Anybody who wants to read can try.
Lakshi, can I try?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely.
Okay. A morta ete retrouvé dans la maison.
Very nice. Un mort a été retrouvé dans la maison. Super.
La morte est un sujet difficile.
Very, very nice. La mort est un sujet difficile. You recognize any one of the mort?
I think one is basically related to death.
Correct. It is. That's true. Absolutely true. So, un mort, when it's masculine, means a dead person or death. Like you said, related to death. Une mort is death. Sorry, excuse me, guys. Un mort means a dead person. So, here we're talking about a person who's dead. And une mort means death. So, now if you guys see the sentences once again, un mort a été retrouvé dans la maison. That means a dead person had been found in the house. On the contrary, la mort, the death, is a difficult topic. I hope the two meanings are clear till here. As I go forward, when we look at mon oncle est un aide à domicile, so the term that we're looking at is un aide. Merci pour votre aide précieuse. Now, while we don't have an article here, we do have an adjective, which is, by the way, in its feminine format. And how do we know it? Remember last time we'd covered things like précieux changes to précieux. So E-U-S-E endings are actually feminine. That's how I know that précieux is feminine, which means the word before it would have been feminine as well. Is that correct? Because we have to accord the adjectives. Having said that, if I clearly look at the meanings for un aide à domicile and une aide, un aide is an assistant, somebody who helps, so a male assistant. But une aide means help as well as female help or female aid. Okay, so une aide is when it means help, but un aide means a helper who's masculine or a male assistant, and une aide means help as well as female aid or female helper. Coming back to the sentence, let's see if we understand it just a little better. Mon oncle est un aide à domicile. My uncle is a male assistant at home. That means he's a home assistant or a home helper or a male helper at home. Domicile is another word for home. Merci pour votre aide précieuse. Thank you for your precious help. Once again, I want all of you to just quickly look at these sentences from A till Ash and tell me on the chat with a thumbs up or a thumbs down, do you identify the differences between the words now? If yes, put a thumbs up on the chat. I know it's going well and I'm going to show you the list. Great. Thank you, Ria, for mentioning that so super quickly. Thank you, Renu. Good. Superb, Lian, Emmy. Okay, Rakesh, superb. We have a few people on the screen like Alicia, Kadesha who's also mentioned thumbs up. Good, great, superb, lovely. I see that even if the cameras are turned off, everybody is well aware, well attentive in class. That's superb, that's lovely. Merci, super. Let's look at some words, some that we covered already and some new ones that'll help us because they're very common, okay? Let's look at the term un page. Un page is a page boy. I don't know, I mean, we don't have any pages anymore, but previously we used to have page boys. So un page, but une page is the paper or a page from a book. Un bal is a formal dance, which is basically like ballroom dancing. But une bal, this is a ball or a bullet. Clearly, you guys can also identify it with it changing to A-L-L-E, which is feminine. Two words, un physique and la physique. Physique, when it's masculine, means physical appearance. Okay, so if I ask you to describe somebody's physical appearance, that's un physique. But la physique, this is the subject that you study in school and university, which is physics. Okay, so la physique is a subject, c'est un métier dans l'école ou l'université Whereas a physique, this is a physical appearance or your body type. On the other hand, a moule, this is a baking tray. A very common term if you ever read recipes and if you're fond of that. A moule is a mold or a baking tray, whereas une moule, this is a mussel, which is seafood. Another very common word, parallel. Obviously, for us, I mean, we look at it and we understand it's to have a parallel, to create a comparison. That is a parallel. But une parallel is also a term which is a line of latitude in geography. I don't know, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you guys would remember these terms from back in school, longitude and latitude. So that line is also called the parallel. A lesser common word that you guys may have come across. But you should know the difference between the two. We have un silence and une silence. Un silence means silence. Obviously, the word in itself suggests that. But une silence is also used as a poetic pause, a dramatic poetic pause in poetry or in music. Okay. Next, an office. It's a role or a religious duty. A more common one that you may know is une office, which is a pantry. But very less used nowadays, to be very honest, but it used to be used. So a few words that you have seen in different spaces, but I hope that you understand now, but changing their articles or their gender from to yun or la to la would change their meanings as well. I want you all to just take a second before I move forward to just review this so that it's imprinted in your head before we're going forward. So, un livre, yun livre, very common. Un tour, yun tour. Un poste, la poste. A manche, which is a handle. If it's a tool that I'm using, that's a handle. But yun manche is a sleeve. Okay? A critique, we just read a superb example around it. A critique, and all of you guys are very fast in responding to it. A critique is a person, and une critique is a review or a critique that you write. A memoir is a thesis, and une memoir is memory, if I have a very good memory. A voile, I think we missed this, but glad we're covering it now. A voile is a veil, which is used to cover the face. In certain religious ceremonies or in certain cultures, we take the veil, that is a voile. But une voile is a sail on the boat. Okay? A mode, which is the method, a mode de vie saine versus une mode, which is fashion, and you all know this. A mort, une morte, un aide, une aide, un page, une page, un bal, une balle, un physique, which is physical appearance, la physique, which is a science subject, a métier, like chimique. A mule, which is like a baking tray, and une mule, which is seafood, parallèle, and une parallèle. Silence, un office, and une office. Okay, moving forward, I hope you guys remember we did certain masculine and feminine endings last time, correct? And that was super helpful, I guess. For a male helping aid, be masculine, female, feminine, generally correct. For a male helping aid, it will be masculine. For feminine, it will be feminine. So and yun with the term ed. That's correct. And in general, yun ed will also be used if I want to say a help. Give me some help, or give me, or can you give some help? That's also help, which is feminine yun ed. Okay. Same for critique. Critique, as in when you're talking about a person who's a critique, because it's already ending with E. Remember, some words which already end in E, they remain the same. So critique would remain critique also for feminine. You can change the gender to become critique, which is a feminine version of it. Yes. All right. Since we had done some endings last time that helps identify, we did all those endings to identify what is masculine, how the words are masculine, when they are feminine, what are some common endings. This is what we did. Today, we're covering the same, but the exceptions. So whilst we already did these endings, we know what words are there, so every other word with these endings will be masculine or feminine respective of the list. But what are the exceptions? That's all we want to know. So today, for the same endings, we're covering the exceptions. All right. Okay, if all of you are with me, let's see. We studied last time some masculine patterns that we're going to start off with. And because there are multiple exceptions in French language, why not just make sure we do those as well here? We did the first one, age, that's a masculine ending. Okay. However, there are some feminine terms which, despite of ending with age, are feminine. Some masculine words, despite of ending with age, which are feminine, like la page, you just saw that, la plage, la cage, l'image, la nage, la rage. Okay, very common terms about a beach or a cage or an image. EAU, you all know this is masculine, like your bateau and your cadeau and your chateau. Beau. However, some words which are exceptions to it are l'eau, which is water, and la peau, which is skin. All right. Moving forward, we have the term âme, A-M-M-E. This is a masculine ending. However, the terms such as la flamme, everybody can just say that once, la flamme. This is feminine. La gamme, which is again feminine. So la femme is like the flame. Okay. ET endings are masculine. We know it's ending with a consonant and all of the same things. It's fine. It's ET, it's masculine. But the term la forêt, this is feminine. And honestly, I've seen so many times forêt being such a very common error. Forêt, it's not masculine, it's feminine. Most of our MENTs are masculines. But la jument, that is feminine. Anybody who in the chat can tell me what la jument could possibly mean? Anybody? La jument is a horse. Very good, Asmita. Superb. La jument is a female horse. So the male one is called cheval, very common. The feminine horse is called jument. Okay? Okay. Poire is masculine, but terms like la poire, l'histoire, these are feminine. Common terms like EU, masculine, but words like la rue and la peau, once again, these are feminine. Your word ending with ins, masculine, but la fin, la main, and la mama. La fin, which is the end, la main, which is your hand, and mama, which is a biological gender, which means mom. We have terms like, we already know of the term la mère, which is mother, but as you know, we don't go around on everyday basis calling our mom la mère, correct? I mean, we're not in any Shakespeare movie, we don't go around doing that. But we use very general terms and colloquial terms like mom or mama. In French, we similarly have term which is la mama, which means mom. Okay? Again, Biswajit, your question is that it's not an ending. No, it's not ending with in, but the sound is what we're looking at here, which is mama, not ending with in, but the sound gives me a. So we just wanted to make sure that we put it there just for referential purposes. That's it. And so that we could give a little bit of clarity on it. Okay. We have terms like the ones ending with cle, C-L-E. All are masculine, but la boucle and la débâcle, two terms which are feminine. La boucle basically is an ornament. I don't know if it's the loop or the, I don't know, like the big earrings. That's also called la boucle d'oreille, which is hoops. So that's boucle. We have terms which ending in T and X, which are masculine. Obviously, words ending in consonant, there's no double in consonant, no E, so they're all masculine. But are terms like la nuit, le don, la forêt, la part, and la jume, which despite of the fact that they end with T's are not masculine, are feminine. We have words ending in X, which should be masculine, but the words la voix, la croix, la pays, which is peak, these are all feminine. Similarly, we saw some feminine endings, which such as ad, as, al, a, et, ia, ion, e, eek. We saw all of these last time, and we categorized them as feminine endings. But there are some words which, despite of ending with these, are not feminine, such as le grade, le jade, le stade. We have ACE, as, and we know that words ending usually with E is okay, they're close enough to being feminine. So, but un espace, very common word, which is a space, un espace commun, which is a common space, that's masculine. We have terms which end with E accent followed by another E, should be feminine, but words like le lycée, which is high school, le musée, which is museum, le trophée, which is trophy, these are not feminine, these are masculine. We also did that words doubling the consonant and ending within E. That's how we make something feminine. So set, C-E-T-T, that's why it's feminine. But the terms like le squelette, I don't know if everybody, most of you may know the term squelette, what it means, but the term squelette is very similar to a skeleton. That's the word. Squelette is a skeleton. Now, words ending in IE, again, feminine, but the exceptions. Le parapluie, which is umbrella, very, very common term. Un incendie, this is an incident, a very common term that you use in TEF writing. We did that all your sions and ions are feminine. Your exceptions, le camion, which is your trucks. Un avion, which is a plane. Bastion, dominion, even though they're supposed to be feminine because they're ending in ion, they are not. We have ILLE, which should be feminine, like la fille, la famille, but our exceptions, le bidonville. Now, bidonville is a very common term, okay? These are those, not villages exactly, but those smaller areas, not very developed areas. That's bidonville. It's something very similar to your campagne, but you often hear these terms in TEF and TCF just to be a little bit of a point of confusion. So these are very slum areas. Slum areas or like these shanty towns. This is bidonville. Very common term that you hear in TEF and TCF. Your EQE, IQUE, all feminine. Exceptions, le moustique, which is your mosquito, le plastique, un classique. Your words ending, for example, with SE should be feminine. But the only exceptions, le suspense, le vas, le gypse. Gypse. Okay? These are your exceptions, guys. Usually, while learning the vocabulary, once we learn the vocab, we know the meanings, we often just get lost in the genders and identifying them. These are those, no matter how many rules and tips and tricks you learn, it's also important to know these very common words, which are difference. Padmpriya, bidonville is the slum area. That's called bidonville. Okay, all right. Going forward, again, like we said, it's a small recap and recapitulation of all of this, okay? Almost always all your masculines would be ending with age, mo, isme, o, and oir. A recap of what we did last time, as you can clearly see. Let me switch to what we did. typical endings, your al, on, isme, on, o, a, er, age. All of these terms, they're supposed to be masculine suffixes. So almost always, like in French, nothing goes without exception. So almost always they're masculine. What's almost always feminine? Sion, sion, te, et, ur, and a. Taking you back to our last week's document, et, ur, in, a, e, s, is, ans, all your feminine endings. Almost all of them. Why almost all? Because we've studied that we cannot live without our never-ending exceptions. We also covered that always what's masculine are the days, months, cardinal points, seasons, and languages. Taking you back to where we were, this is the recap of it. Your cardinal points like north, south, east, west. So le nord, le sud, l'est, et l'ouest. Cardinal points, which are your directions, are masculine. Your days, lundi, mardi, mercredi, all masculine. Months, masculine. Seasons, masculine. Languages, le français, l'anglais, l'hindi, l'allemand, all masculine. Okay. What's always feminine are your continents. We discovered last time when we reached towards the end of last week's session. La France, La Chine, they are all countries which are ending in e's, which are feminine, but all your continents. I remember all of you had put that down on the chat also last time. So your Asia, Australia, which is Oceania, all of these are feminine continents. All continents are feminine. L'Afrique, l'Amérique. We also identified some professions and roles which can be gender specific, like un journaliste and young journaliste. And there are some job titles which do not have a separate female because they're already ending with an e, so just the article changes. So un journaliste and young journaliste. While there are others that only exist in the masculine form but can be used for referring to both male and female. So like an engineer, un engineer. We don't even add an e in the end and it remains the same. Certain professions which exist in masculine, but they describe both men and women, like un plombier. We covered some of these in the last session. Likewise, we said that there are some words in which we just add the term femme and make it feminine, like use sage femme. We also covered some biological gender matters like un chat, une chatte, un garçon, une fille. So animals and people with biological genders that change. So with different words. Some words we talked about today, today we talked about that some words when they change the article altogether, like un livre and une livre, when we change the article or the gender, it completely changes its meaning. So one very important tip while you guys are reading especially and when you guys are practicing reading is to check out the article. Make sure you're looking at the articles in the beginning of the sentence. And by the way, in your reading in the TEF examination, there is a section which is called phrase lacunaire and text lacunaire, which is basically fill in the blanks of what's missing. A lot of times in this new section, you're tested on your grammatical concepts and sometimes vocabulary. One tip to be able to answer that particular type of question is to look at articles. If whatever before your blank is or yun or le, ula, you know the gender of the word that you have to choose from the MCQ. It helps you in the process magnanimously in eliminations. So once you're doing your readings, you would know that last year a particular section was introduced which is called phrase and text lacunaire, which are fill in the blanks in which they're trying to test our knowledge on grammar as well as vocabulary. So it's a mix of both. And a lot of times you'll see while you when and if you start doing the practices for the reading sections as well, one tip to be used for elimination processes is to look at the article before it. or to look at the adjective after the blank to identify whatever word that has to come in the blank has to be which gender. Let's say it's supposed to be feminine. Then I know out of the 4 MCQs, whatever option that is not feminine, let me just remove that. So that process of elimination really helps you target and solve this type of question in the TEF examination. Hence, your knowledge base around gender for exam purpose, for your reading exam purpose is also very, very important. All right. Okay. I hope that previous session, which was last time's session, and this week's session put together was able to solve a lot of questions and queries around gender identifications for you guys. If you guys have any questions, I'd love for you to put them on the chat for me so that I can respond to them before we find up today's session. So can you guys please tell me if there's anything, any speck of doubt that's there, and I can definitely help answer those. Or there were any words or doubts from last time's session that were a problem and that can be addressed. All well? Super. Okay. We have a few very, very exciting sessions coming up for the next week and the weeks to come after that. So it'll be great to have you guys participate actively and proactively in these sessions. Like I said, that none of these sessions are going to be of the content that you're covering in your existing classes. This is going to be supplementary and complementary to that. So make sure that you guys stay up to date in your community to understand what we're going to be doing every week, and make sure you attend and actively participate. I know most of you couldn't turn on your cameras today. That breaks my heart, but I want next time as many of you can get stationed before the class and can turn on the cameras. It would be lovely. Okay? Alors, merci beaucoup pour votre participation aujourd'hui. Merci pour votre attention aussi. We'll see you guys next week, and I hope to stay connected, guys. Okay? Au revoir. Bonne soirée à vous. Au revoir. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. I'm glad that you guys had a lovely time and it was informative for you all. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, please keep them rolling in. Bye, guys. Thank you. De rien, de rien. Thank you for your participation today, guys. Au revoir, bientôt, à bientôt.